Hello and welcome to the Forsaken Podcast. I'm Grim Reaper, joined today by Rygo
Howdy.
and Magick.
Good afternoon.
So in every way, a giant warrior would be better than a regular-sized warrior, especially due to the fact that they can wield the two-hander in one hand and dual wield. Like the whole dual wielding mechanic. Because there's no reason to wield a two-handed weapon as a warrior that's not, I guess, like a staff, right? Like you would never do that.
A pole arm, because it's more offensive than a staff, but also more defensive than some of the higher offensive weapons.
You shouldn't be able to one-hand a pole arm or a staff.
But as far as like a two-handed sword or something, because in my head, like a warrior with a two-handed sword, he chooses to use two-handeds over, dual wield. Like that seems to not be a viable option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say here that is true, Magic, but unless of course it has the one-handed flag. If it's a one-handed staff, you can wield it with one hand, and if it's a one-handed pole arm, which we have both of in the game.
Well, yes, but that being said, we also have two-handed swords we can wield in one hand, but you literally cannot one-hand a pole arm other than steel feather, which doesn't have the two-hand flag.
Yeah.
There is an instance where a regular two-handed staff can be dual wielded with something else.
Is that dual wielded though? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you talking about the whole wand issue that's going around right now?
No. That's not what I'm talking about.
Or are you talking about the owl pike?
I'm talking about a specific. No, I'm talking about like a regular staff.
You're talking about Minotaur wielding a staff and an axe?
I am. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That shouldn't happen either.
You can double grip. Get this, dude. You can double grip your staff and dual wield a two-handed axe in the other hand.
Yeah. See, again, that shouldn't happen either.
I agree.
I flagged that as a bug. So
That's been brought up, and it was decided not to change that.
what?
This is a long time ago. Not a long
I'll
time
bring
ago,
that shit
but within
back
the
up.
last couple
Yeah.
years.
Was that a unanimous decision by the staff, or was that like one person saying, "No, that's okay"?
I don't recall the details, but the point is, it was decided that was good enough. It was a perk.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
if people play more Minotaurs, whatever.
Maybe,
don't
but it's not gonna make them any better.
I mean, you lose some doing that, wielding a staff in your first hand and an axe in your second hand, because it has to be an axe, because that's the only thing that they can dual wield like that.
Yeah.
You kind of lose some of the benefit of their perks. So
Yeah, you don't get, because even if you are double gripping that staff and dual wielding that axe, you don't get weapon block from it. You don't get pugil from it.
I don't think you could charge with it either.
If you're
Yeah.
a Minotaur, you can charge with anything.
yeah, if you're
Oh,
Minotaur,
well, yeah, fair enough. I forgot about that perk for a minute.
Yeah, because see, the thing about Minotaurs is they have these horns on their head, because a Minotaur is got the head of a bull, but the body of a man. So their charge is a little different. They like to charge into battle, head down, horns out, straight into their opponent. I imagine possibly hitting them in the chest or in the gut, maybe if they're a giant. If they're a gnome or a super small size race, God, I don't know. Do they lunge forward, and kind of dive them Superman style with their horns to hit them that low? Like those Arctic foxes that jump up and dive bomb into the snow? Is that how you have to approach charging a like a halfling or something with the Minotaur? What are your thoughts on that?
Jesus Christ, Grim.
So wait here. First of all, I don't think they'd hit a giant in the stomach, because Minotaurs are a giant race.
You think they'd hit like a human in the face with their horns if they put their head down and charge?
I don't know. I don't know.
Should that disrupt your whole sense of sense of
Like a
being?
headbutt almost?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Simply from a balance perspective.
Yeah. Minotaur warriors with the charge, it's not as good as a Minotaur berserker with the charge, because they swing at you with the axes. If you're charging as a warrior, you just got a basic ass head charge, and it's not necessarily ideal. That's not always the best way to open. You know what I mean? Sometimes I have to open with murder so that I have a chance so that I'm not lagged going into it. You know, see what my opponent does, so that I can make a decision based off that.
Which, by the way, whoever added that Minotaur charge where it does the Berserker Minotaur charge where it does the throwing up in the air and with the axes and all that, was a great idea. It's pretty cool.
Have you played a Minotaur Berserker?
Yeah.
So how come Minotaur's warriors don't get like a perk to their charge?
I thought they used to, but it was deemed too overpowered, and so they knocked that down. At least that's what I recall. I could be wrong there.
It's because Berserkers are less defensive or something?
Well,
I think that Berserkers might be a little bit more wild. Rushing in, throwing their opponents up, beating them with axes while they're in the air. Less finesse than warriors.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see.
So it would be cool if other skills had that kind of that flavor whenever you're getting the prompt of them coming across. I don't know.
I get you.
Your legs and hamstrings you.
It'd be cool if like spells like had like a special. I guess maybe you would call it a echo. When like you do like I don't want to say max damage, but you get like a good roll or something like as far as damage wise, if it changes, So I got like high damage or whatever.
Yeah, the text comes across like all the way red. Like holy shit, you've gotten fucking lit up by that fireball.
I don't know about like.
No, I mean not necessarily
like
cuss words.
No, I just mean like I don't know like colored like that, but I just mean like a different like phrasing of the words, something that's a little more flavorful. Because if you add a bunch of color like that, then it would get pretty annoying quick, and I think that would kind of take away from the overall aesthetic of the mud.
You don't think it should have like a full screen like macro or not macro? Yeah, what are they called? The ASCII art. Where it's got like a fucking. You land like a critical like call lightning and just like a big fucking like middle finger comes on the screen like you are fucked, No,
I don't think that at all because then it's just more clutter, especially when in combat goes so fast at times.
Okay, so you're talking about kind of like what Hellstream would do. You bow your head as you call forth full power of arcane, of the arcane. Do something like the ground before you erupts and so and so is enveloped with arcane light. That type of deal?
That type of deal, but that was not cool at all.
Yeah, I was about to say that was like really fucking tame. You know what I mean?
I get what you're going with, and yes, that is the point, but yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I didn't mean it to be cool. I just wanted an example of it.
Incinerates with hellish fire.
It worked as an example. It's just like, it would be cool if whenever you did like hit like a max damage spell or something like it.
Okay, next time I give an example, I'll jazz it up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. It was like you bow your head and fire pops out of the ground and you are hurt by it. Like, no, dude.
Like, you hit them and roast out their eyes with a Hellstream or something. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. So and so's eyes liquefy inside their skull as the Hellstream. Like fucking.
But yeah. Dude, something like that. It would be kind of cool to have that kind of flavor added to the game, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
But I guess whenever we're talking about these kind of changes, we have to be selective about. It's fun to sit here and talk about things like this and what could be cool to be added and features and benefits and things like that. But a lot of times we're stuck with what can we add that's going to basically add the most bang for your buck with the time that we have,
Well, it does, but at the same time, it's not like FL has like a finite amount of time to exist, Like in another 20 years, maybe we can be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, whenever
I know I'll still be mudding in 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be mudding or not in 20 years. A lot changes in 20 years. I might be dead. Who knows?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but it would be cool to have like those kind of things, I think.
Along
with a bunch of other. I mean, there's so many cool things that could be added that probably are in other MUDs. It's just taking the time to figure them out and implement them.
Well, yeah, that's more fluff than anything else, too.
And maybe we've already talked about this, but I mean, what's like a system aside from a gambling casino thing that you might want to see added?
Like a housing system.
Okay,
But-
so how would that look to you? How would a housing system, with the way that the player base actually looks, or the players that we have, how would a housing system work?
There's a set aside, like you build an area that you can add on to any of the hometowns. Like you add like a neighborhood section, have a bunch of empty houses. There's already empty houses in some of these towns. Add a bunch of empty houses for rent or to buy or whatever, and you can pay maybe RP or coin and RP, or maybe you spend coin to buy like the property, and then you spend RP to like put cool like shit in it or get an extra room, something like that. And you can have it for the extent of your character's life, and when your character's gone, the house gets removed and makes room for somebody else's house.
Okay, yeah, because Zoichan might not mind me mentioning this, but yeah, we already have player houses in the works, actually. It's a part of Off Call, which I think should be done pretty soon.
Wow, that's a huge announcement that you kind of just snuck in there. That is a huge announcement that you just snuck in to the podcast. You guys heard it here first. Make sure to tune in every week.
You putting this in there just so you can give yourself a deadline there, Zoichan? 2 weeks? Okay, you heard it here, folks.
2 weeks. All right, mark it on your calendars, and then Zoichan hashtag the players them if it doesn't arrive.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Cross your fingers in the meantime.
Wow, that's a huge reveal, man. That's pretty exciting. I know I'll be saving up money.
With that being said, what other ideas might you have to add? Are there any? And you guys can bring up someone else. Fishing, huh?
And hunting, so you can get your own food and you don't have to buy milk.
Well, they kind of have that.
I think Legend of Zelda has the market on fishing, although I think that would be pretty cool too.
I would say Final Fantasy does myself, but
all games have fishing in it. The fishing on Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably the coolest I've played. But fishing, maybe like low key, like I don't know, like I'd say crafting, but like say you could cook fish or so, okay, because like this is basic in any MMO. You can cook some kind of a meal and you eat it, and you have like enhanced regen for a small period of time or something. Like maybe for the next tick, after you eat your meal that you cooked, you have like, you can get a good sleep in. Or something
you want
like
to do
that.
something like a poor man's brew, as it were.
Yeah, poor man's brew.
I don't know. Would it be called a poor man's brew?
Well, no, we wouldn't exactly call that, but we've got brew in system as it is. So I mean, you're just kind of mirroring it.
Yeah, you are. I think it would be cool to be able to cook and to be able to fix different meals, and you get different ingredients give you different meals, which obviously give you different little perks. Like, I don't know, you have you get a small percentage of regen for 24 hours, or it could be mana moves, or just depending on what you need, or that would be kind of cool. But then you're adding a whole new element of balance to the game, and it would be
but you're also looking at something else that everybody can kind of get. I mean, you've already got herbs. Throw it in with herbs and sit there, get seaweed and flavor your roast duck with it or something, and now you get health regen or something like that.
There you go.
Or flavor it with cocoa and just get damage reduction.
Or because a lot of people think that consumables are an issue as far as melee is concerned, with them being stronger. You could always just kind of get rid of smoking the herbs, and rather just using the herbs to prepare food that you have to eat. But it takes time to prepare the food, right? So like that's like a risk that you have to take, is a little bit of downtime while you're preparing the food or something like that.
Yeah,
you make it replace herbs, and it kind of make it where there's the only thing, now instead of just running around and grabbing the herbs, now you're actually having to do something, and there's some risk to it, and you can't just hoard a bunch of herbs, right?
Right.
That might be unpopular with some people who like to smoke black leaves as soon as their sanctuary gets dispelled.
Shouldn't be able to do that in combat anyway.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, well, I think that there should be. I think you should be able to do it in combat because it's a mud and it's not really realistic.
Not without a downside.
But I think there should be a downside of lag, and or if it has a chance, a high chance of failure, and if it fails, it pops you in the eyes for like a tick of blindness or something.
Yeah,
I know this is beating a dead horse, but this is the whole reason why potions had this whole failure chance in combat added to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there should be a downside because right now there is no real downside to smoking in combat. I mean, as far as I know, it doesn't even lag even half a round.
No, it should lag a half a round, but you're not going to see that anyway, regardless. I mean, the deed's done already. Half a round lag. Ooh, zap with a wand.
Well, in reality, if I'm in a fight, it might actually be easier for me to slam a potion than it would be to actually light up an herb and like smoke it.
Yeah, probably so. But I mean, again, this is not like a realistic game.
No, it's not. But it's like if you're gonna have one thing and be like, you can't quaff this because you're fighting. It's like, okay, but I can smoke this. Like, if you're gonna use that, let's at least use some like sensibility here.
But back to the whole cooking thing, you can always give an extremely long lag, like 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Hell, throw in a tick.
I'm about to say, yeah, tick.
If the herb is preserved, you don't get as big a bonus. If you're a spellcaster, you can enhance it with magic, so you get a bigger bonus.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool things that you could do with it. I think it would just be kind of a unique side system that you can spend some time doing. But some people might just look at that as a chore, a way to get. Me personally, I would look at it as a almost like a bonus, like questing or going around with the bard and actually having to create your instrument, or with the crusader at armorcraft and having to create your armor. Those types of systems to me are really fun, and the only problem is after a while they get kind of to the point where it's the same thing over and over. And so if there's no real benefit to it, like small perks that you get, then it might just be something that no one wants to do.
What about some sort of profession system implemented in there? So you can be a blacksmith, go around, get the veins, take the ore, make that into something. You can have woodworkers, etc. Interchange or trade what you make between people.
I'd personally love to have that kind of
system. I would too. I can already see the argument against it that we're going to hear from the rest of the staff. They're going to be like, well, that fucks up crusaders, or that takes away from merchants, or blah, blah, blah. But, in my opinion, it's like, who cares?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have... Well, okay, taking away from crusaders, that's kind of a... Not really. It kind of all depends on what you're going to be crafting with it. If you're doing weapons, they're going to be subpar to the crusaders anyway. If you're doing weapons, same with them, and so on. I mean, whatever.
I know, but... So here's my thing is... So you have the... Let's say, for instance, you have, weaponsmith, okay? Either A, you're going to make the weapons weak and no one wants to use them, or you're going to make the weapons strong, which then makes it to where no one wants to use the rare weapons. All they'll do is they'll basically build up these weapons. So either way, you're killing some portion of the game. Yes, you're taking away something. But maybe that's not such a bad thing. But then what people are going to say is, well, it takes a while to make your weapon, and it's better than rares. So that rewards people for longevity, which I don't personally see a problem with rewarding for longevity. I think it's a great idea, because anything you're doing for a long time is going to be more rewarding than doing it for a short time, for the most part, I guess.
Well, you say that it would take away from the current rares and whatnot. This is why we have the point system in place. We can tailor it to about equal value of the current rares in population. Alternately, you can take those same materials and kind of add them to current weapons, to where you're folding that glaciite into your weapon now it has a frost proc.
Yeah, but that's I mean, that
I know that's kind of touchy ground, but still, it's one of those things that you can do with it.
maybe you can fold stuff into non-rares to make them a little bit better. Not necessarily like the strength of a rare, but you could take. I guess what I'm looking at is if there's a lot of equipment that covers a bunch of different grounds. Like I'd like the idea of being able to have different character builds or different class builds based on different types of armor. But for that, you need a lot of different kinds of armor that does a lot of different kind of things. You know, so I don't think adding more armor out there into the mix is a bad thing. You know, because that kind of makes so that people can get. They don't all have to go for the Adeptus crap. You know, there's different sets that you can go after to still be competitive and have fun and like to give you something to do in the game. Because a lot of people won't play if their piece of armor isn't in. You know, and they need that for their class.
Well, what I would say is this. You could make it to where instead of, you know, creating new armor, you alter the armor that's already in the game, and basically the crafting system would be to almost reskin it.
Enhance? Kind of like
not necessarily enhance, but to reskin. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
to basically do like the merchant skill. The Elder Merchant skill, which I shouldn't be talking about, but I am.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it now. Hang on. We can just talk about what you're talking about. Like, imagine taking a non-rare item. Let's see. Like, what's somebody's favorite? The Blanky Wan, for instance. You can take the Blanky Wan and mold it into something else. You use its core, like what it's made out of. You know, like whatever damage type it is. You can take that core thing and then kind of, I guess, enhance it in a way. A certain, you know, maybe apply the points how you see fit, depending on your blacksmith proficiency. Call it something else.
See, that was all I was saying was just basically restring the item.
Oh, just straight up restring it.
Yeah, just straight up restring the item, and maybe, I mean, take away like the rare perk or the rare flag. But I'm just spitballing here because, like I said, anything that you introduce like this is going to change balance considerably, I would think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, you're making that one skill and the Cabal, or not Cabal, but the Bazaar Shop virtually useless at that point.
Some portions of the Bazaar Shop, sure.
Specifically the one where you can rename and color your item and...
Yeah, you would... Thinking about that, there's a reason why we only allow like the color and why it costs what it costs. Because, you know, you don't want a lot of color running around the game, because it's, like I said, the aesthetic of the game is that way on purpose.
You heard it here first. You do not like color in the game.
No, color's fine, just not an overabundance of color.
Too much color is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Color in moderation.
You heard it here first from a member of the Glimmering White staff.
But I think that honestly, I think it would be cool to have some of those systems, and it would be cool to work all that stuff out, and you know, how could you balance it and all that.
Well, I have a question. If the items themselves are balanced with the point system, why does it matter if there's an abundance of balanced items in the game? Is the game intended for some people to not be able to have equipment? So that
I guess it wouldn't matter. I guess if you were a blacksmith, the question is, I mean, could a blacksmith wear their own? Could anyone else wear a blacksmith's weapon that he created?
That's a good question. You know, I mean, I don't see why not. The only issue I could see is merchant being like, well, what the hell? Now this guy's selling armor. Maybe you can only sell your items to merchant or something, and then they can sell it. Maybe you can get some of the I don't know, something like that. You can give it to merchant. It'll get more items for merchants to be able to sell.
Yeah, I don't know. You could find other ways to make merchant viable. I mean, that's not all merchants do. A lot of what merchants do, I mean, they do sell stuff. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of what merchants do is running around and helping others.
Like heralds.
Yeah, very similar to heralds. Yeah, just in a different, not even necessarily a different way. They're just
why the hell aren't they part of the same cabal?
Because one is a legitimate front for a crooked business, and the other is a repository of knowledge.
I think it's kind. I mean, I'm digressing here, but I mean, I think it's kind of absurd for the merchant be having to be the front for the cartel or whatever. Like, why the hell can't a merchant that literally wants to sell shit be good aligned?
Well,
Why can't
okay.
there be,
So,
like also all merchants in the lands have to be crooked. Like, you can't have like a good merchant. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess in FL it does, but it doesn't.
it makes sense simply because merchant is the front for the criminal organization known as the syndicate. Okay, they're the front business. They bring in all the cash in legitimate ways, and then the syndicate brings in all the cash illegitimately. And so that's why that works. However,
because it makes no sense for there not be able to be a good aligned merchant.
yeah, well, from that perspective, it makes no sense to be a good line. So what I propose is to make neutrals be able to carry items that they normally can't carry. And evils, really. I mean, evils should be able to sell the goods. They'll probably jack up the price, but they should be able to sell the goods. So an evil merchant or a neutral merchant should be able to carry good-only items or evil-only items for a neutral. No, they can't use. They can only just carry the items in their inventory and have it in their sale list. That way they can sell it to goods, because goods get kind of get the shaft as far as that is concerned.
They get the shaft. It's catered to people that can PK without restriction, like evils.
For instance, like the Eye of Hack Shear or whatever it's called, that gives spell level. I can go on a merchant and get that pretty easily, but there might be like an invoker or something that can't get it by themselves, and as a neutral merchant, I should be able to get that and sell that to that goodie. To me, it only makes sense. No, I'm not going to use it, but at least you can have it in your inventory and you can sell it.
Yeah, even if it's a usable type item, it will tell you can't do this.
But that's just how I think that merchants should work. They should be able to sell to anyone, but right now they can't. And
I'm behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm behind that too. Yeah, it doesn't make sense the way it is right now. I never understood that. I mean, I guess I understand it given the origins of it, but at the same time, like what it has become since it's its own like kind of thing, I don't see why goods get the shaft, because it's not like it's not like goods are super popular anyway. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be, from what I hear.
To me, it seems like the mud goes in phases where there will be a lot of evil characters on, and then there will be a lot of good characters on. It seems like it kind of, like I said, goes in phases, and then neutrals just kind of pop up here and there, and they're always kind of around.
Evil tends to cater for those who enjoy PK more.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I'm not saying that RP people can't RP evil characters. I'm just sitting there saying that as far as PK is concerned, evil gives people the freedom to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I'm with Magick on this one.
Okay, so yeah, I agree with that, but what I'm saying is that there's a lot of PKers that play goodies, and that, I mean, look at Dranthos.
He played that for the build,
Like Ashuka.
And Dranthos played a good, no different than an evil, like he was just under the banner of good. That dude.
I'm just saying, there's still goods that, while they don't have the same they have more limitations, I should say, than evils. There's still a lot of goods that are played for PK.
Yeah, but again, like I said, it's you're as you just said too, you're limited, whereas evils you don't have. Yeah, you're unlimited. I don't like the way you look today. I kill you.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's a crappy roleplay reason.
It
still is a roleplay reason.
But it's still viable.
Yeah, it's still viable. I mean...
Moving on.
Yeah. Thinking about things to add to the game, I just had an idea. I don't know how you guys will feel about this, but what about hireable mercenaries? Not like pets. PvE only mercenaries that, like, say you're online at a weird time. Say you live in the Shadow Realm or something, and you need to go to gear, or you need to go to steel or something. Some kind of hireable mercenaries that will stay on your team until they die, or until, for X amount of time. Maybe you have to pay extra to get them to stay more, like, per hour to hire them, that help you go do PvE stuff, but will only attack mobs. They won't attack. You can't use them in PK.
I think that's a double-edged sword in that regard, to where if there was a lot of people on, you could sit there and go in solo gear by yourself. Well, solo by yourself. But at the same time, you would be the people in like New Zealand and whatnot that come on when there's only like one person on besides themselves. It would benefit them a lot too. What if that was to be implemented? Do it to where if there's fewer than 5 people, you can buy it. But if there's more,
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea for equipping. But speaking of which, I still think that it would be cool to also have a pet system where you can raise pets, and maybe they don't get involved in PK. But me personally, just as kind of a nerd, I would enjoy being able to raise a pet, and if I don't feed it or whatever, it dies, or
Yeah, I think that'd be cool too.
FL Tamagotchi edition.
Yeah, yes.
What?
Tamagotchi, man, come on.
What's that?
You know what a Tamagotchi
Really? You
is,
missed
dude.
those?
It's a little keychain, handheld thingy, and it's like a little pet, and you raise it, and you have to feed it and pet it, and if it like poops on the floor, you can beat it, but if you beat it too much,
What?
it dies.
No.
It's basically a virtual pet.
Yeah, they had
It was
another
a craze in the 90s.
they had another
Okay.
version called Gigapet.
Okay, well, whatever,
Dude, I
folks.
didn't have a Tamagotchi. I had a Gigapet that was a little dinosaur named Sid.
Still, that would be fun to do. And I mean, if anything, it could also help with PvE. It could, instead of mercenaries, you could have a pet that helps with PvE that you can summon up or whatever. That would be another thing.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be cool. Stuff to help with PvE, I don't see as a problem. Because I mean, I don't see.
Chocobo racing, Zoichan says.
Yeah, but there's some copyright infringement though.
Well, you don't need chocobos, dude. You could have like raptor racing. I mean,
Okay,
that
raptors
would be kind of
exist.
cool.
Is there any dinosaurs in FL?
Yes, Sharpclaw.
We need it. What? Oh yeah, Sharpclaw.
Yes,
We need a
Sharpclaw is a dinosaur.
dude. Let's have we need a dinosaur zone. Now that I think about it.
No, I'm just
Pretty
saying, like, I mean, it would be kind of cool to implement them somehow like that, though. Maybe we're getting a little too off the scales here. I don't know.
I don't think
So what you're saying is the casino that's going to be made is going to have hookers and blackjack and dogfights and races.
Whoa! Nobody said anything. about
Who
hookers
said
and-
dog fights?
Yeah, who said I'm against that?
Oh, I see. Yeah, the hookers and you're fine with, as well as the races, but the dogfights.
Yes.
Oh
not
Yes,
saying-
I'm completely
Wow.
fine with hookers. I mean,
don't
that's
think-
a choice, right?
I don't
no!
think
You heard it
hooking,
here. It's Rygo's
God.
Rygo's fine with hookers.
hooking is a choice.
I mean, I'm pretty
No.
sure it's legal in certain areas, so...
In a Baron?
Like Galaranodon? What?
Yeah, Gal.
I mean, there
I don't
is
know.
there's a whole ring in Miravor
A hooking ring?
behind the curtain.
What curtain?
You know, the curtain.
Oh, like the metaphorical curtain? You
Yeah,
talking about a real curtain here?
there's a curtain. You just haven't
Okay.
been behind it yet.
I have been behind the curtain. I know what's back there. There's
Oh, okay. Okay.
scary stuff going on in the depths of Miravor. Holy shit.
The side of
No,
Baron
no.
that we never knew.
Also, another cool thing is like arena battles. Like real time arena challenges. Not just fighting something to get gear, but like maybe like a gauntlet or something. You could run maybe an achievement system. I know we have like the quests you complete, but like
I know that
achievement.
the players in the past have asked for an arena where they can PK without the worry of getting looted or dying.
Yeah, and that'd be cool because people could watch then. Like because people would spectate that. Yeah, there's no
We
reason to
actually
not have that.
in the open arena.
I
It was just buggy as fuck for some reason. Back in
Yeah,
the day. I don't know where
that-
it sits now.
that would be cool to have, as long as it didn't affect Cabal warfare and like two people who are in the same Cabal were fighting to, basically avoid death and losing equipment.
You know what we don't see often is people going in and watching the fights. So and so is going to fight the undead wight in 3 hours. Come visit. Well, what if we had the ability to bet on who's going to win between the two?
Damn right.
Give
right. Damn
Yeah.
right.
That would be kind of cool.
That's damn right.
But would you spend a lot of time in there watching someone die to the wight?
Yes, dude. If I was gambling on it, and hell yeah, and if I could bet on, like, you know, if two Nexus members wanted to go in there and duke it out or whatever, two War Masters were fighting in the arena, like, you damn right I'd watch that, and I'd put money on it.
Two War Masters in the open arena. I walk in. Yay!
I would definitely check that shit out.
I think. Go ahead.
So long as you're in the stands, you can actually fight with each other. It's like, no, my contestant's better. Slam.
Yeah.
I don't know about being able to fight in the stands because that, I guess.
Oh yeah, not that much there, Zoe-chan. I'm thinking more like a betting cap. Can't do more than 5,000, 10,000 gold.
5,000. There's got to be like odds, right? Like if somebody is like a Dranthos, for instance, if Dranthos was in the arena versus like, you know, some new
a fresh pin.
Yeah, you know, like the odds against, you know, if the odds for Dranthos would be, you'd get like, they'd pretty much be like 1-1, you know, like it's 50-50. Not 50-50, but you get, you know what I mean? You get back.
Someone could drop a lot of gold on someone that they know won't lose to the wight. I mean, there's a certain point where certain characters, they just kill the wight. It's not even an afterthought.
Yeah, one of my characters right now can pretty much do that.
Yeah, it's at that point, then it would be basically what Zoe-chan was saying was that there would be some room for abuse there. And
which is why I said there would be something like a gold cap.
Yeah, there would be a gold cap, I think.
There's a gold cap, and you only get back arena credits to use at the arena gift shop that sells certain arena items.
Hey, you know what? Put some decent wares in the arena for that, and yeah, it might actually work.
Yeah, you could sell like Dranthos jerseys and stuff. No,
potions of haste. I don't know, something.
Shit, yeah, oh yeah, that's exactly what we need. Everybody gets haste. Just put haste in, you know, like we auto get haste. Don't do that.
Well, no, not exactly haste, but you know what I mean, to where if you accumulate 100,000 credits, for example, you might be able to pick up that one bottle of haste.
Nice. Man, you could have group fights in the arena, you know, like two Nexians versus two Knights. Who's going to win? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I bet on stuff like that out of the
I'd go watch. I would just watch, you know, I'd watch that shit, though. That's anything to get anybody to want to be on the game. You know, maybe have an arena champion title or so, you know, like cool shit. You know, cool earnable titles that are like in-game, I guess, that you could maybe toggle on or off. Like, you could use your basic level 50 title, or if you've unlocked whatever, you know, from some achievement that you've gotten. Shit like that.
Yeah, I definitely think that it would be cool to have an arena, and I think you could do a lot of different little events and things around it. Like, you know, once a month, maybe have like a free-for-all battle similar to...
like a Royal Rumble?
Yeah, similar to Halloween Madness, you know, where you go into the thing and you can't kill people, you know, so people wouldn't have that worry, so they could go full tilt at each other. But yeah, I think the arena or some of the stuff that we brought up today would be really cool to implement.
I agree.
Whether or not it actually happens is a different story entirely, but yes, it'll be cool.
At least we did our part to know that we are the cutting edge of innovation. You know. Yeah.
So if anyone has any other ideas that they could think of that would be cool, you know, just let us know. And, let us know, and we'll chat about them. Give us some thoughts.
Get some of them comments rolling in. Link, subscribe, yada yada.
Don't forget to click that like button. Well, that concludes today's episode of the Forsaken Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll catch you again next week. Goodbye.
Take care.
Good day.